I've read that you do like listening to metal a lot.
Yes.
Would you say that metal is a good genre for self-taught artists? Because you actually are autodidact. You taught the music yourself.
Yeah.
And do you think that metal is a good genre to start with because it's more complicated arrangements maybe than pop music?
I think it's harder to start with. It's very complicated, but I just, the thing I love about heavy metal music is that there's so much emotions, and when they play live, they're all sweaty and all red in the face, and they almost cry and they scream, and it's very emotional and angry, and I really like that.
Yeah, but it's a common thing in Norway to be into metal, right?
I think so.
There's right in this office right here. There's many metalheads as well, or ex-metalheads, but I think it's not as common as in Norway, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I love heavy metal. I love Gojira, and I love Mastodon. I love Tool. I love Tool a lot, because they're just an amazing band. And they're not on Spotify, I think, which is quite cool, because everyone's on Spotify. So you have to buy an LP or an album to actually listen to them, which is nice.
But anyway, my favorite artist from Norway, I think I'm really into heavy metal, and I'm really into black metal and Viking music that kind of hypnotizes you.
Yeah.
Even though the Vikings were horrible, if you look away from all the horrible things they did, they can be kind of cool.
I wouldn't have thought that you necessarily listen to metal, because obviously your music is quite different, but you were talking about your album artwork, which is amazing, the image on the front, you as the moth, or maybe the moth as you.
We are both one person now.
Yeah,
Emerged.
dead moth, but a very live human.
Yes.
Now, you thought initially that might have been giving the wrong impression, maybe people would think it was a metal album or a metal artist.
Well, I was not afraid, but people on the team was a bit afraid that it would look like a heavy metal album, and I thought that idea was quite cool.
Er du liksom opptatt av hvem du spiller før og etter I forhold til hva slags publikum du får?
Ja, det har jeg ikke tenkt på. Nei, egentlig ikke. Jeg tenker, fordi at jeg tenker bare folket som jeg elsker jo Enya og klassisk musikk, og så elsker jeg også heavy metal. Så det jo, jeg tror bare så lenge det god musikk, så det jo utrolig mange forskjellige genre som kan falle I smak for en person. Håper jeg I hvert fall.
Vegard spør, hvem blir du inspirert av?
Nei, mange. Det varierer hele tiden, og det jo så mange jeg inspirert av uten å en gang vite det. Jeg tror de jeg hører på, jo de jeg faktisk ligner minst på. Utenom kanskje Enya. Jeg veldig inspirert av Enya. Det en vokal, det vakre, men jeg har lyst til å ha noe som høres ut som Enya, noe drømmende, og mikse det litt med noe veldig tungt. Jeg veldig glad I heavy metal også. Men det blir kanskje litt mer sånn på andre platen.
So this is Mastodon, as we said, and it's a song from 2011 or so, 5 years or so ago. Where did you first hear Mastodon, and is it just this song or the band itself that you love?
No, I do love the band, and I've seen them live 3 times now. I was quite young the first time I saw them.
I was wondering, how old were you when you first saw them?
I think I was no more than 13.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm a big fan of Tool, and also Perfect Circle, which is basically the same thing. And then when I heard, especially this song I like a lot, because just the sounds in the beginning, they're so, I don't know, they sound like they're sick, like they've catched a cold, which I really like. It's a very nice band. They're more melodic, is that the word?
Metal, maybe?
But
what was the word you were trying to say?
Melodic.
Oh, melodic, yeah.
They seem like more than most heavy metal bands that have more melody, which I like.
Yeah, and mystery in this song.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, here just a tiny bit more. This song's called The Hunter. Where were you, by the way, when you saw them for the first time, and what kind of place did they play?
It was in Bergen.
Yeah.
I think it was inside the first time. I remember the name of the venue because it's not there anymore.
Is it like a sports arena or is it a theater
No, it's a
club.
It was a club kind of. And then the second time I saw them, I was maybe 16. And then they warmed up for Slayer together with Gojira, which I also love a lot. So it was a great night for me to be able to see Gojira and Mastodon and Slayer at the same time. I'm quite a big heavy metal fan.
So I wouldn't have gotten that.
Especially live.
And there's a big metal scene of all sorts of metal back home, yeah?
Oh, yes, especially. I think it's quite normal where I come from, in the north,
Why do you think?
to like heavy metal. Maybe it just suits the scenery. If you're on a bus and you look out the window, it's most likely that there will be raining, and it will be quite dark if it's during winter time. And then I just feel like heavy metal just fits the scenery, and it makes you feel like a superhero, which I think many people need.
That's awesome.
And it's, that kind of ties into another question I had is, I love that you are a heavy metal or a dark metal fan, but there's obviously a very big difference between that sort of music and the music that you create as well. So do you find yourself maybe identifying with different types of music more as a fan and less as a creator and vice versa? Or is that sort of the same thing you're speaking about before?
Well, I think it's just a kind of a way of me telling the world by being a huge fan of heavy metal, but also Enya and classical music. And it's just a way of telling that in many ways music is just music. And it's and I don't really care about what genre the song I like is from, because I feel like, I don't know, I need different music for every emotion I want to feel. I wouldn't listen to heavy metal if I needed to cry. But sometimes I need heavy metal in my life, and especially when I go to see them live. It's much alike the way I feel when I play live myself, just lots of energy and singing until your face grows red, and sometimes like people headbang to a few of our songs, and it's just nice to see how music is just music, and it kind of represents different emotions that you need to feel. And I'm from Norway, which makes sense, because everyone from Norway loves heavy metal, or at least most of us.
I'm curious about your country's history of black metal.
Yeah.
I know it was around in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Is that still a prevalent scene?
I love heavy metal. We are quite dark in our country.
Yeah.
And the weather is dark and cold. And in winter we only have 3 hours of light every day. Like now, for example, we have 3 hours of light, or maybe 5 now. But it's not a lot. No. And we have like old children tales, kind of about trolls eating humans, and about like weird creatures hiding in the water in the fog. And we have I don't know, I just think the whole atmosphere in our country, like the mountains and the fog, I think it hits our brain in a way that makes us want to make something dark out of it. Some dark music, heavy music, and I think it's very common to like heavy metal. Maybe not so many girls my age anymore, because we're getting more and more influenced by the world around us. But I don't have a radio, and I don't have Spotify or iTunes or anything like that, so I still only have the records I buy, like LPs and CDs.
Ting at du hører litt på metal.
Ja, jeg er kjempeglad.
Du har blitt observert headbangende på Gojira-konsert.
Ja, det ødelagte jo hele konserten min dagen etterpå, for jeg hadde noe kink eller nakkesleng eller et eller annet. Jeg hadde veldig vondt i nakken. Jeg har alltid hatt det når jeg var nakken min.
Men metal står sterkt hos deg.
Ja, tydeligvis. Veldig glad. Det er et eller annet med følelsen i det.
Så sjekk ut Gojira. En annen ting.
Hvilken sjanger hadde du valgt da, fra pop til?
Jeg tror heavy metal.
Ja. Det hadde du kledd.
Jeg tror jeg hadde kledd det.
Kommer det til å skje, tror du, en gang?
Ja. Jeg har lyst til å samarbeide med Gojira. Det hadde vært veldig kult. Det er et fransk heavy metal-band. De er veldig flinke. Det kunne vært gøy.
Kjenner du det?
Jeg har møtt de, men da visste ikke de hvem jeg var. Jeg møtte de, altså de gikk forbi meg, men det var liksom litt det samme. Men jeg fikk en signert t-shirt av de når jeg opptredde på Slottsfjell, for jeg kom dagen etterpå. Da hadde en av de arrangørene visst at jeg var fan og spurt for meg, uten at jeg spurte han. Det var skikkelig snilt. Så den vasker jeg ikke. Det kan ikke gå med så mye.
Men en gang så får vi se deg i heavy metal-samarbeid med et fransk band.
Ja.
Who are some of the other artists that maybe have inspired you or just that you like to listen to?
Well, I don't really listen to much music because it kind of crashes with the ideas I have, like the ideas I have in my head all the time. So it's kind of messy, if that makes sense. But I'm really into David Bowie, and I really like Leonard Cohen also. He's also dead. And I really love Kate Bush.
Oh yes.
Because she's connected to herself, which is the most beautiful thing you can be. And I really like heavy metal also.
Wow.
I love Gojira.
Yes.
Which is a band from France.
Yes,
I love them.
Yes.
And I love Mastodon also.
Well, you said Gojira, then Mastodon, right?
Yeah.
Gojira. They were both, by the way, Gojira last year for you guys. They were Grammy nominated for Best Rock Album. Mastodon won a Grammy Award this year.
Really?
Great bands. Yes, great bands.
They did.
Yeah, we should rock out with our bums sweaty and our hair. Your hair would flop, mine would not move because I'm losing mine. You have good amount.
Yes.
Apropos sjangere, det var nytt for dem. Hva hører du på selv? Hvilke sjangere er det du liker?
Jeg hører veldig lite på musikk.
Ok.
Ja. Jeg elsker å høre på mantra. Sånn religiøs mantra. For at jeg gjør det veldig avslappet.
Men noe som er ganske monoton?
Ja, det synes jeg er kjempedeilig.
Ikke det popformatet på 3,5 minutter nødvendigvis?
Nei, jeg hører på heavy metal også ganske mye.
Ja, hva er det du fascineres av der?
Følelsen, og måten det kan være så sentimentalt, men imens det er egentlig bare sånn at det vekker en slags en del av hjernen som ser litt lengre enn førsteinntrykket, som jeg synes er veldig interessant, fordi at heavy metal tenker man jo over opprørere og sinte folk, men så hører man sånn etter, så er det egentlig ganske mye sånn smerte og glede og det synes jeg er veldig nydelig da.
Men når du er på en metal-konsert for eksempel, går du all in da? Er du liksom...
Ja.
Du uttrykker det fysisk også? Du får nakkeskade, ja? En liten whiplash.
Jeg hadde jo det på min første øyeopptreden i 2014. Vi sier det. Eller 15.
Magefølelsen sier det.
I løpet av sånn i 14 og 15. Halv 15. 14.30.
Øya 14.30 i festivalen.
Ja, 14.30. Da hadde jeg vært dagen før på Gojira-konsert. På samme scenen jeg spilte. Og da hadde jeg headbanget så mye at jeg hadde veldig vondt i nakken, så jeg måtte smøre meg inn med Voltarol.
Ja. På grunn av bangene kvelden før,
ja.
Hvem er favorittmusikeren din egentlig, Aurora?
Jeg tenkte på det akkurat i dag, fordi jeg tenkte at jeg kanskje skulle prate om det. Og jeg tenkte akkurat, det er så mange. Favorittmusikeren. Jeg er veldig glad i Anne Brun. Så jeg er veldig glad i Enya. Veldig glad i et heavy metal band som heter Gojira. Men sånn hjertemessig er det vel Anne Brun, faktisk. Jeg har hørt på mest i mine egne dype daler gjennom livet. Og så er jeg veldig glad i Hebbe Kråkevik.
Er dette her typisk musikk for deg, som du har med deg rundt i headsetet?
Jeg hører veldig lite på musikk, egentlig. Fordi at det krasjer liksom med alt jeg tenker på. Så jeg liker å ikke høre på noen ting, stort sett. Jeg hørte på litt musikk i går, og da hørte jeg jo på Gojira, med en sang jeg liker veldig godt fra de, L'Enfant Sauvage, Savage Children. Den er ganske hard, da.
Men skal vi høre den her nå, eller?
Ja, jeg tror det vil bli fint.
Hva er det du liker ved dette her?
At det er så hardt.
Eller nei, Mouth of Kala, kanskje. Mouth of Kala av Gojira fra det samme albumet. Det er veldig vakkert. Det er et eller annet med de. De er vakre menn. I would like to collaborate with Gojira. It's a French heavy metal band. I used to really like Metallica, but then I was at a concert but the fans came running and my knee got out of its location. So it was like, and I had to go to the doctor. So that's what I think about when I think about Metallica. But I'm a huge heavy metal fan and I was a huge fan of them when I was a bit younger.
Is this how you perform when you do the big shows, or are you doing like a stripped-down version of your band? Do you have a full-on rock band playing with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are at times quite heavy. That's
Really?
why I have quite many heavy metal fans that say, I hate pop music, but I like you, they say. And
Nice.
But I have quite many. It depends what song. Like Under the Water, I have quite many heavy songs.
If you could collaborate with anybody, alive or dead, who would that be?
Well, my biggest dream was to collaborate with Chemical Brothers, which I really love, but I have already. I've written some songs with them for their next album, and maybe I would do a live performance with them this summer, who knows. But I would love to collaborate with Gojira, a heavy metal band from France, and I would love to do something with them. So it's very inspiring for me when it's quiet, and I've never really. I can appreciate classical music or heavy metal when I'm on the airplane, because then the air motor makes
a better noise
so
than
much noise, and it's actually bad for your hearing. So then I listen to maybe heavy metal. I love to fall asleep to heavy metal music, actually. I don't know why, but it really makes me feel good. But I prefer, quiet. That's because it comes from a different place anyway.
You are into heavy metal music, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite metal song of all time?
Oh, wow, that's really hard. Maybe it's any song by Gojira. It's a French metal band, but I think maybe, right now I'm really into Violent Pornography by System of a Down. It's annoying, but it has some really cool parts that I really like. So, but I kind of still listen to the same, because we didn't really have MTV or like the TV music.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a radio when I grew up.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really discover music. We had Bob Dylan and Cohen and Enya, and those were the three people I kind of knew about for a long time. And then I started really liking heavy metal. I think, I would have sent heavy metal music to myself earlier.
Okay.
I could have liked to have had.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
more time with heavy metal music in my youth. I love heavy metal.
What would be your kind of choice track or choice artist?
Maybe something by Gojira. They're a French heavy metal band.
Yeah.
It's really great. So maybe I would have sent the album L'Enfant Sauvage, Savage Children. It means on French, and it's really nice, really dark.
Hvem favorittartisten din?
Jeg liker veldig godt
Vanskelig spørsmål.
Ja, jeg tror Gojira det er et heavy metal band.
Jeg har sett deg live.
Jeg også. De er kjempefete.
På Malakoff. De er kule, så faen. Det er god trommis.
De fleste heavy metal band, egentlig.
Ja.
Så jeg vil velge Gojira. Heavy metal really reminds me of home in many ways. Norway is a very...
Yeah, Bergen is a nice place for
heavy metal.
And
So heavy metal. I really love Kvelertak.
Yeah, the same.
Which means just like to strangle someone.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great.
song you love that might surprise people.
The next song is a song I absolutely adore, but that may surprise you. And I have chosen Mouth of Kala, a song by a French heavy metal band called Gojira. And Gojira is actually one of my favorite bands in this whole world. I absolutely adore heavy metal music, which may surprise many people and may not surprise other people, because even in my music, I have a lot of those really heavy elements and those really powerful and big elements. And I think that's what inspires me. And also that's what I love about heavy metal music. It's just like a whole wall of music coming towards you. It's like a nature force, like a tsunami, or like the deepest deep in the ocean. And I just love it, that it just swallows you whole and chews you up. It eats you and then spits you out again. And then you sit there covered in saliva and you think, what the hell happened? But it's kind of lovely. And I like experiencing that at least once a week, spiritually, metaphorically, not actually experiencing it, of course. But I love this song. It's beautiful. It's very dark. It's full of those really dark undertones, and it's very powerful. It sounds like war is about to come and you have to prepare yourself. It sounds like the orcs in Lord of the Rings, which is awesome. And I guess it might surprise many people, because I don't look that dangerous. Maybe it's because I'm like a centimeter tall. But yes, I look very not dangerous. And this song is very dangerous and it's very nice. But again, that may also be the Norwegian in me, because all Norwegian people, we like heavy metal. It's a part of our blood.
Talking about music and interests, you also like heavy metal. Nobody would have ever imagined Aurora likes heavy metal.
Yes, I know, I love it. I think it's because I'm Norwegian, and Norwegian people, we love heavy metal.
Right.
There is something about it. Maybe it's because it's so dark here in the winters and we get all messed up in the mind. But yes, I love heavy metal. I love it so much. I think it's because it has so much power, you know?
Right.
So powerful.
You know, one of my favorite bands is System of a Down. I really like System of a Down. Yes.
I love them. I think the guitar player in Gojira, the heavy metal band, I love so much. I love Gojira because I love when music feels like a nature force and it's just a big wall of sound and power and force. And I think that's a really nice thing about the first album I fell in love with of Gojira, The Sound of Wales. And it's just very mighty and it has power, which I like.
Whose music had a big emotional impact on you, or who has a big emotional impact on you when you listen to them?
Well, I love Hans Zimmer, and I love Ennio Morricone, and I love Enya, and I love Gojira. Wow. And I love either like really filmatic and like spiritual and grand music, or I like heavy metal.
Yeah.
Because that's like a wall of sound coming towards you like a tsunami, which I love. Or I like The Prodigy or Chemical Brothers, like really hard rave music. That's the three music I like.
I feel like those genres of music fit perfectly in with the Scandinavian landscapes we just talked about. You said like the wall of sound, you mentioned about Norway, the mountain right in front of you, and then the more kind of cinematic and epicness, and then the rave. What kind of landscape would that be?
Well, rave to me sounds like how I experienced the world once I first traveled outside of the borders of my little home. The world sounds like it's just a forever going rave party. Very intense.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your songwriting process, and I've also read somewhere that you love metal music. So tell me more about that.
Well, I'm Norwegian, so of course I love metal music. It's in our blood, it's in our roots. I love that metal music, it just overwhelms all my senses.
It overwhelms my mind and my ears, and it comes towards me like a great wall of sound, and it's so much. And I just love that I get so overwhelmed by it. And I actually often use it to fall asleep, strangely enough, on really noisy places. This music really helps to kind of make sense of the noise that's there anyways. I don't know what's about it, but it's my biggest sleeping medicine, so it really helps.
Do you listen to much music outside of what you'd usually listen to for that kind of?
I never listen to music, almost. I don't really like music too much. Or I like... It's kind of a lot to have music on all the time. I really struggle in restaurants and bars and stuff when we are talking and there's music, then I just listen to the music and I cannot focus on what people say. I find it really stressful. So I'm not a big fan of like music in the background. Sometimes when I travel, I will put it on because the sound of travel is shit, like flying, and it's just so It's so noisy. So then I listen to mostly heavy metal. Sometimes Enya.
Yeah.
2 different moods.
You're on the new Bring Me record.
Yes, I am.
Listen this morning. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Your voice suits that track so well.
Thank you.
Did you know Bring Me much before this time?
Yes, I did. I've known them for a long time. Because I was very into like really dark black metal when I was a little child. Now I've gone over to a bit more melodic stuff as well, mixed with, metal, which I can also enjoy. But I'm very into like really hard metal. And I had a lover who loved Bring Me the Horizon. And I thought first that they were a bit too soft. But then I listened to it more and they kind of just grew on me. And now this lover isn't on this earth anymore, sadly. So it felt really magical and kind of heartwarming and heartbreaking to now be on their album. He would have lost his pants.
Great.
But there are no pants in heaven. That's why it's heaven.
I understand Gojira is one of your favorite French bands.
In the world. They're one of my favorite bands in the world.
Will Aurora ever do happy metal? Happy metal, sorry. Maybe. That's a new genre.
I love that.
Will Aurora ever do heavy metal one day? Is it something you would like to experience?
Yes, bien sûr. I will definitely make a heavy metal album.
Can't wait.
Sooner than you think.
What has happened since the last time we spoke, because I didn't know, you were going to make a song with Bring Me the Horizon.
Oh yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yeah, Limousine, awesome song. You've all heard it.
Yeah, and if not.
But I think you told me once before that you're a huge Bring Me fan and you love metal. So, I mean, what did it mean to have that come together?
Well, I'm a very big metal fan, and I heard Bring Me the Horizon when I was a youth. We call it in Norwegian, like a teenager. And they were with me for some time. I was introduced to them by a lover, my first lover, who actually died. It's sad, but it's beautiful as well, because now when I listen to them and now when I made a song with them, I know that he would be just amazed. So it felt very full circle in the journey of grief.
And then Ollie slipped into your DMs and you apparently was like, fuck yeah!
Yes, yes. We bonded through Palestine. Because I was like, we need to stick up for them. And he was like, yeah, we do, yes, true. And then he was like, do you want to make a song? And I was like, yes.
Oh, no, is it a sign of things to come? Because there's some gnarly songs on your album too. Could you make a metal record, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think my heart won't be complete without. So yeah, definitely. I really want to do it because I just love it so much. It's such a force. Like a wave, a deadly wave coming at you.
Death metal wave.
Yeah, which is so cool. So I have to, for my Norwegian ancestors. Until now, I've been purely a disappointment to them.
Sorry, guys.
But finally I will make them proud. The only difference between this album and my previous one is the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, I have listened a lot to more heavy metal than usual. Witch Club Satan. It sounds very scary, maybe, but it's kind of a play on female rage. Women who are truly capable of incredible things. They were all burned at one point just because they were amazing and capable of bringing the world forward. And that's why witch is a very strong word to me, because it's a true reminder of how long women have been punished for being excellent and feared for being excellent.
Is there any artists you wanted to collaborate, like have a featuring?
No.
No? No.
Maybe some heavy metal bands, as always.
I can imagine a sound like this.
But I've said that 100 times now. Fans must be so tired of hearing it. But heavy metal bands, of course.
Yeah.
And then maybe just more native musicians from around the world, because I think that's where the best music comes from.
Da foretrekker du stille og rolig?
Ja, jeg foretrekker stille og rolig. Jeg foretrekker å... Ja, nei, jeg hører ikke så mye på musikk. Det er litt rart. Jeg hører på det på fly, bare for å... Hvis jeg ikke vil prate med folk.
Ja.
Så er det veldig sånn klar beskjed om du er på headset og hører på musikk sånn. Da liker jeg å høre på Gojira. Det er heavy metal.
Kult.
Nå ble jeg glad. Gojira er bra.
Ja, for du kjenner deg igjen i den.
Jeg hadde tenkt å ha de på min liste.
Vi elsker jo
Flying
Gojira.
Whales.
Ja.
Gojira, skal vi ha de på i stedet for?
Nei, vi går for listen nå.
Men,
eller du kan vurdere det etter hvert.
Men vi ser enda mer opp til deg, det kan vi si.
Gojira er mitt favoritt. Jeg har en t-skjorte underskrevet av alle, og så skal jeg prøve å få til å lage en sang med de. Jeg gir et løfte nå til dere to, her og nå.
Wow.
Jeg skal få det til en dag.
Og de er så hyggelige, de karene i Gojira også. Du, nå må vi bare komme oss til låten. Eller så eksploderer dette i prat om Gojira.
Can you think of a band where you say they look like such a fine, wonderful unit?
Oh, well, when I saw...
Simple answer is Oasis.
That is very true. I think all my favorite heavy metal bands, they feel like they share the same heart, which is really cool. It's very within the same heartbeat, which I really like. Gojira is one of my favorite heavy metal bands, and it's weird because they have this beautiful album, Flying Whales, that is a dedication to the environment. And I just read recently that the whales of the oceans have stopped singing because there's not enough food. The oceans are too contaminated and become too warm. So it's literally the whale song, the most ancient song on earth, is about to end. Isn't that heartbreaking?
It is heartbreaking. We're going to listen...
Oh, are we going to listen to that now? Flying Whales? Woo! That's it.
There wouldn't be an interview with Aurora without listening to some heavy metal. Excellent.
Okay, so if I were on a desert island, or if, I mean when, I am on a deserted island, I think I would have to bring 7 songs who had a bit of every emotion. So I would have to bring a song by Leonard Cohen. It would probably be Suzanne, because that song reminds me of my mother, and that would be nice. And then I would have to bring The Fellowship of the Ring, from obviously Lord of the Rings, because that's one of my favorite musical soundtracks ever. And then I would have to bring Flying Whales by Gojira, because I would need some heavy metal. And then I would also bring a song by Mastodon called The Sparrow, which I think is a wonderful song, and I loved it when I was a kid. And then I would have to bring Now We Are Free from the movie The Gladiator, because I love that song as well. And then I would have to bring an indigenous song made by a woman called Mari Boine from Norway. She is one of the Sami people, the indigenous people of Norway, and she has a song called Maze, M-A-Z-E, and it's very earthly and rural, and you just feel amazing when you listen to it. And then last, Smack My Bitch Up by The Prodigy. Then you have a bit of all moods.
Perfect.